Good day, grade 5. Welcome to our science class. I am Teacher Joey, your virtual teacher for today. Today class, we will travel to another lesson in science. I know and I am sure that you are all excited for another fun-filled learning activities for today. So let us now begin. But wait class, before we start our discussion, try to find a nice and comfortable place inside your home where you can focus with your lesson. I want you to prepare yourself as well as your materials necessary for your study. Kindly bring out your pen and paper so that you could jot down some important notes needed for your learning. Always remember class that having knowledge is having a power. For the second quarter, week 2, our topic is all about respiratory system. Our learning competency is the learners identify from pictures and diagrams the parts of the respiratory system as the nose, windpipe, and lungs and describe how they work. The lesson objectives are the following. Number 1, identify the nose, windpipe, and lungs in pictures and diagrams as the organs of the respiratory system. Number 2, describe the function of each part of the respiratory system, the nose, the windpipe, and the lungs. Number 3, label the nose, windpipe, and lungs on a diagram of the respiratory system. Number 4, explain how air moves in and out of the lungs through observing a lung model. Number 5, create a simple model of the respiratory system. Number 6, identify common respiratory ailments. For our day 1, let's have a short recap. This activity is 2 truths and a lie. 2 of the statements will be true and 1 will be a lie. Discuss with your group mates which statement do you think might be the lie. You will explain why you think that statement is the wrong one. After each round, discuss the answers together. So let's start now. The nose warms and filters the air we breathe. Next, we breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Next, the lungs are located in the chest cavity behind the stomach. So now, which do you think of the following statements are truth and lie? For number 1, that is truth. Number 2 statement, that is truth again. And the number 3 statement, we have lie. Next, the lungs are like giant balloons that inflate and deflate with each breath. Next statement, the more you exercise, the less oxygen your body needs. Third statement, nose, trachea, heart, and lungs are parts of the respiratory system. Now, which do you think are the truth and 1 lie? Statement number 1, that is truth. So in statement number 2, that is a lie. And in statement number 3, that is a truth. Next, we take in oxygen through our skin and exhale carbon dioxide through our lungs. Next statement, the epiglottis is a flap of cartilage that closes over the trachea when we swallow to prevent food from entering the lungs. Third one, cilia are tiny hairs lining the airways that help trap dust and germs. So in number 1 statement, that is very good, that is a lie. Next, second statement, yes, that is a truth. And in the last statement, that is also a truth. So the lesson purpose. Why do you think people might die from suffocation in a fire even they aren't born? So during a fire, smoke fills the air, blocking the airway and making it difficult for oxygen to reach the lungs. Since the lungs can't get enough oxygen, the body cells don't function properly, ultimately leading to suffocation or what you call asphyxiation. Smoke inhalation is a major cause of suffocation in fires because it contains harmful chemicals that can irritate the lungs, making it difficult to breathe. So let's now answer the KWL chart for respiratory system. This is, you will write down what do you know, what you wonder, and what will you learn. So let's now proceed to unlocking content. I spy with my little eye. All you have to do is to spy what this statement all about. For number 1, I spy with my little eye something tiny and invincible. The air that we inhale important for our survival. It enters our body through the lungs and keeps our cells alive. What do you think is the answer of this one? That is oxygen. Next, number 2. I spy with my little eye a gas we breathe out. It's a waste product from our cells, but plants need it to survive. Do you know already answer? Yes, that is what you called carbon dioxide. Number 3. I spy with my little eye something that warms and filters the air we breathe and lets air enter into the respiratory tract. It also has a great sense of smell. Yes, very good. That is nose. For number 4, I spy with my little eye a tube that carries air down to the lungs. Any guess? Yes, that is trachea. For number 5, I spy with my little eye a place where gas exchange happens. Oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. That is, yes, the lungs. So, for our subtopic number 1, breathing, how does air move in and out of our body? So, for today's lesson, we'll provide understanding into how our bodies take in air, move it through our lungs, and use it to keep us alive. But how does air move in and out of our body? Instructions: sit comfortably with your backs straight. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. That is just below the rib cage. Then take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Observe which hand moves more, the one on your chest or the one on your belly. We have a process questions here. For number 1, we felt our chest or belly move during breathing. Why do you think these parts move? Can you connect this movement to any possible internal organs involved in breathing? What do you think actually expands and contracts during breathing? For number 2, since breathing involves air entering and leaving our body, where do you think this air travels inside us? Process question number 3. Is it healthier to take air in through the nose or through the mouth? Process question number 4. Imagine someone covers their mouth and nose entirely. What do you think might happen to their body? For our activity number 1, this is parts of the respiratory system, breathing bodies. For instructions, find your breathing body for this exploration. Number 2, look at the labeled charts of respiratory system. Number 3, work with your breathing body to answer these questions about each part. About the nose and mouth, how do structures like hair and mucus help filter air we breathe? For trachea, why is the trachea made of cartilage rings and not a soft tube? For bronchi or bronchioles, these branching tubes ensure air reaches all parts of the lungs. Explain how their structure achieves this. For alveoli, what is the significance of the large surface area within these tiny air sacs? Instruction number 4, talk to your breathing body about your ideas. How do the special features of each part help in function within the respiratory system? Number 5, each pair will get a chance to present their assigned part to the class. Explain the part's function and the cool design features that make it work. So the process questions, number 1, what are the parts of the respiratory system? So the answers are, we have the nose, the mouth, the trachea, the lungs, the alveoli, and the diaphragm. For process question number 2, how do all these parts work together? So the possible answer is that these parts work together like a team. Air enters through the nose or mouth, goes down the trachea, then moves into the bronchi and bronchioles, and finally reaches the alveoli. The alveoli pass oxygen into the blood and remove carbon dioxide. The diaphragm helps move air in and out by changing the space in our chest. They all work together to make sure our body gets the oxygen it needs and gets rid of the carbon dioxide. Process question number 3. How do the special features of each part contribute to breathing and gas exchange? Your possible answer is, the nose has a tiny hairs and mucus that trap dust and germs, keeping our lungs clean. The trachea has strong rings made of cartilage so it stays open and doesn't collapse when air passes through. The alveoli are super small, but there are so many of them that they have a large surface area. This helps a lot of oxygen move in the blood and carbon dioxide to come out fast. These cool features make breathing and gas exchange work smoothly. So let's now discuss about the respiratory system. The respiratory system consists of a set of organs and tissues involved in the uptake of oxygen from the atmosphere and the release of carbon dioxide generated during aerobic respiration. This gas exchange is also called breathing or external respiration. It plays a crucial role in maintaining our body's oxygen supply and removing waste gases. So the parts of the respiratory system, number 1 is we have the nose. The nose is the main tract for breathing. It contains hair and is lined with a mucous membrane. The hair filters the air and traps dust particles and microorganisms. The 2 holes in our nose are called nostrils. From the nose, the air passes through the pharynx. The pharynx is the upper part of the throat that serves as the passageway for both air and food. Next part is we have the windpipe or trachea. Another name for windpipe is trachea. The windpipe takes air to and from the lungs. We cannot live without the windpipe. When a person inhales, air travels through the nose, then down windpipe. The windpipe is also lined with cilia and mucus that traps the germs and sweep the dust particles away from the lungs. The trachea branches out into 2 passageways leading to the lungs. This branch passageways are called bronchi or bronchus when it's singular. One bronchus leads to the left lung, the other leads to the right lung. The bronchi again branch out into a smaller passageway called bronchioles. At the end of the bronchioles are thousands of tiny sacs called alveoli. The last part is we have the lungs. They are the main organ of the respiratory system. They have a spongy texture due to millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. The alveoli or alveolus, when it's singular, are clusters of balloon-like sacs where gas exchange occurs. The lungs bring oxygen into the body and remove carbon dioxide from the body. Day 2. We have activity number 2, nose to know. Label your respiratory system. Instructions: study the diagram of the respiratory system below, then label the parts. So in letter A, that is the nose. For letter B, that is the lungs. For letter C, that is the trachea. Instruction: write the names of the parts of the respiratory system in figure 1 in the first column, and in the second column, describe each. For letter A, that is the nose filter, warms, and moistens the air we breathe before it enters the lungs. Letter B, which is the lungs, are large organ that take in oxygen from the air and remove carbon dioxide from the body. And letter C, the trachea is a strong tube-like passage that carries air from the nose and mouth down to the lungs. Instruction: complete the following statements by choosing your answer in the word bank. So we have what you called in column 1, these are the part, and column 2, these are the texture, and then letter C, the description. So in number 1, the blank is shaped like a blank because it blank. So the answer is the trachea is shaped like a tube because it brings the air to the lungs. Number 2, blank have a blank structure because this helps blank. So the answer is the lungs have a spongy structure because this helps maximize the surface area for gas exchange. For number 3, the blank has a blank lining because this helps it to blank. The answer is the nose has a moist lining because this helps it to trap dust and germs. So let's extend practice. Breathe easy rap. Instructions: we'll team up to create a masterpiece. You may use your previous groupings in this activity. Number 2, come up with a rocking title for our song. Number 3, each group gets a special respiratory system part to write about. Number 4, write lyrics or rhymes about your assigned part. Number 5, rehearse your part, speak it, rap it, or even sing it. Number 6, each group presents their part, creating a breathtaking song together. These are the rubrics: content, 10, creativity, 10, participation, 5, the total of 25%. Day 3. Day 3. We have subtopic number 2, mechanics of breathing. Explicitation. Stand up and get ready for some light exercises. Let's do a few jumping jacks and arm circles to warm up our bodies, get moving, and have fun. Today, you will act like a molecules in the air. Some of you will be red molecules or the oxygen, and some will be the blue molecules, which will be the carbon dioxide. If you are a red molecules, go stand on one side of the room. If you are a blue molecule, go stand on the opposite side. Number 4, when I play the music, start moving around the room freely, just like molecules do. Don't bump into anyone. You're simulating diffusion, which means molecules spread out and mix. Number 5, when I stop the music, everyone must freeze where you are and stay still like pause molecules. Get ready to move and freeze. Observation and discussion. Connecting to the lungs. The diffusion dance represents what happens in the lungs. Oxygen molecules, the red. From the air, we breathe diffuse into the bloodstream, and carbon dioxide molecules, that is the blue one, diffuse from the bloodstreams into the air sacs to be exhaled. Before we begin the activity, I will divide you into groups of 3 or 5, depending on our class size. You may also return to your previous group from the review part. Make sure you have all your materials ready, including the lime water. Carefully follow the steps of the activity. After shaking the container, observe the color of the lime water closely and record what happens. Talk with your group and share your ideas about what you observe. You may use cartolina or manila paper and pentel pens to write and organize your results. If you brought these materials today, please take them out. Once every group is finished, you will present your findings to the class using a graphic organizer. Listen carefully to other groups and be ready to answer questions. I will also ask someone questions to help us understand your results better. So make sure to explain clearly and participate in discussion. How to prepare a lime calamansi or lemon water. So you have to do is to fill up 500 milliliter container with water. Add 1 tablespoon lime. Shake the solution well. Leave the solution to settle overnight so sediments settle at the bottom of the container. Gently pour out and the solution without sediments into a cup. Lime water must be prepared a night prior to the lesson. Pour out lime water into a cup from the 500 ml container. Tie the plastic bags tightly so it doesn't spill when shaking. Be careful not to allow students to taste or drink the lime water. Plastic bag with exhaled air will be cloudy as it indicates carbon dioxide is present. So the expected result will be lime water with air did not change its color. Lime water with the exhaled air turned cloudy. Exhaled air contained more carbon dioxide than the air. So when we say gas exchange, the primary function of the lungs is gas exchange. When you inhale, air travels down the trachea and splits into the bronchi, then bronchioles, finally reaching the alveoli. Here, oxygen from the inhaled air diffuses across the thin alveolar membrane and enters the bloodstream. Simultaneously, carbon dioxide, a waste product from cellular respiration, diffuses from the blood into the alveoli and it's exhaled. For our activity number 3, what is contained in exhaled air? Instruction: fill a plastic bag with air around you. This is the air we inhale, referred to as inhaled air. 2. Pour the lime water into it and tie the mouth of the plastic bag tightly using the fine wire. Instruction number 3. Label the bag A, shake it for 1 minute and observe what happens to the lime water. Record your observations in the chart. Instruction number 4. Get another plastic bag. Blow air into the bag by breathing into it about 15 times. Instruction number 5. Pour lime water into it and tie the mouth of the plastic bag tightly. Label this bag into bag B. Shake it for 1 minute and observe what happens to the lime water. Record your observations in the chart. Instruction number 6. Share your findings with your classmates. Discuss what is contained in the exhaled air. How does inhaled air compare with exhaled air? So we have observation here, bag A and bag B. In bag A, the lime water stayed clear or barely changed, while in bag B, the lime water turned cloudy or milky. Conclusion: exchanged air contains more carbon dioxide than inhaled air. This is shown by the lime water in bag B turning cloudy, which means carbon dioxide is present. Inhaled air, which is bag A, had little or no carbon dioxide, so the lime water stayed clear. Guide question. Question number 1. Is the exhaled air the same as or different from the air around you? Why do you think so? The possible answer: the exhaled air is different from the air around us because it has more carbon dioxide. We breathe in oxygen from the air and our uses it. Then we breathe out carbon dioxide as waste. Question number 2. Based from your observation and the activity, why did the lime water turn cloudy? The possible answer: the lime water turned cloudy because carbon dioxide was present in the exhaled air. The carbon dioxide reacted with the lime water and caused the cloudiness. Question number 3. Which of the two air or exhaled air has more carbon dioxide? The possible answer: exhaled air has more carbon dioxide than regular air. This is because our body releases carbon dioxide when we breathe out. Question number 4. What air is being inhaled and being exhaled? The possible answer: we inhale air with more oxygen and less carbon dioxide. We exhale air with less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. Question number 5. What is breathing? The possible answer: breathing is the process of taking in air or inhaling and letting out air or exhaling, so our body can get oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Number 6 question. Why are both oxygen and carbon dioxide important for our body? Possible answer: oxygen is important because our body uses it to create energy. Carbon dioxide is also important to remove because it is a waste gas from our body's work. Question number 7. Which parts of the respiratory system are involved in the exchange of gases? Possible answer: the alveoli and the lungs are the main parts involved in the exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Day 4. Activity 4. Making a lung model. Instruction: with adult supervision, carefully cut off the bottom third of the plastic bottle. Number 2. Get the regular balloon, stretch the neck of the whole balloon, and secure it tightly around the opening of the bottle neck. You can use your fingers or a rubber band for extra hold. This balloon represents the lungs. Number 3. Get the neck cut balloon and stretch the open end of the half-cut balloon over the open end of the bottle. Secure it with your fingers or a rubber band. This half-cut balloon acts as the diaphragm, a muscle that separates the chest cavity from the abdomen and plays a key role in breathing. Instruction number 4. Observe the model at rest. Instruction number 5. Pulling in, which is inhale. Gently pull down on the half-cut balloon, stretching it downwards. Notice what happens to the whole balloon, which represent the lungs inside the bottle. Instruction number 6. Pushing out, or what you call exhale. Gently push the half-cut balloon upwards. Observe what happens to the balloon or the lungs inside the bottle. Instruction number 7. Describe what happened to the whole balloon when you pull down on the half-cut balloon. Instruction number 8. Describe what happened to the whole balloon when you push up on the half-cut balloon. How does the model represent the lungs' function during breathing? The model shows how our lungs work when we breathe. The whole balloon inside the bottle acts like the lungs, and the half-cut balloons at the bottom acts like the diaphragm. When the diaphragm moves, it makes the lungs expand or shrink just like when we breathe in and out. What happens to the balloons as you pull the rubber sheet downward? When we pull the rubber sheet or the diaphragm down, the balloon inside gets bigger. This shows how the lungs expand when we breathe in and take in air. Question number 3. How about pushing the rubber sheet upward? What do you observe? When we push the rubber sheet up, the balloon inside gets smaller. This shows how the lungs shrink when we breathe out and let the air go. Question number 4. How does the half-cut balloon, which is the diaphragm movement, relate to breathing? The diaphragm moves down when we breathe in to give more space for the lungs to fill with air. It moves when we breathe out to help push the air out of the lungs. Question number 5. How does the exchange of gases occur? The exchange of gases happens in the lungs inside tiny air sacs called alveoli. Oxygen from the air goes into the blood and carbon dioxide from the blood goes out into the lungs to be exhaled. As an expected result, when we pulled on the middle of the half-cut balloon and let go, the balloon got bigger. When we gently push the half-cut balloon up, the balloon gets smaller. The balloon represents the lungs, and the balloon with the half-cut represent the thin sheet of muscles called the diaphragm. Activity number 5. The breathing bodies. Teamwork of lungs and diaphragm. Instruction. Describe the diaphragm and lungs during inhalation and exhalation by completing the statement below. As you can see, there is what you call a diagram. Based on this diagram, when you inhale, the diaphragm blank and moves blank. This creates more space in your chest cavity. The lungs blank, allowing air to rush in through your nose and mouth. I'm giving you 3 minutes to do this activity. Okay, let's answer. When you inhale, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward. This creates more space in your chest cavity. The lungs expand, allowing air to rush in through your nose and mouth. Okay, this time, let's now proceed to this statement. When you exhale, the diaphragm blank and moves blank. This reduces the space in your chest cavity. The lungs blank, pushing the air out. I'm giving you 3 minutes to do that. Are you done? Okay, let's answer. When you exhale, the diaphragm relaxes and moves upward. This reduces the space in your chest cavity. The lungs contract, pushing the air out. Synthesis. Write a short story from the perspective of an oxygen molecule traveling through the respiratory system, encountering different organs and experiencing the process of inhalation, gas exchange, and exhalation. Activity 6. Healthy lungs, healthy body. Promoting respiratory health. Number 1. Pneumonia. Symptoms: fever, cough, may produce mucus, shortness of breath, chest pain, worsens with breathing, fatigue, and chills. Causes: bacterial or viral infection of the lung, air sacs. Prevention: get vaccinated or pneumococcal vaccine. Practice good hygiene, hand washing, avoid second smoke. Treatment: antibiotics for bacterial pneumonia, rest, fluids, and pain relievers. Number 2. Tuberculosis or TB. Symptoms: persistent cough, may produce blood, weight loss, fatigue, night sweats, fever, and chest pain. Causes: bacterial infection is spread through inhaled droplets from an infected persons. Prevention: good ventilation, avoid close contact with infected individuals. Treatment: long-term antibiotics, isolation precautions to prevent. Next, asthma. Symptoms: recurrent wheezing, coughing, especially at night or early morning. Chest tightness, shortness of breath. Symptoms may worsen with triggers like allergens, exercise, cold air. Causes: allergens, dust, fumes, and other air pollutants, changes in climate. Prevention: identify and avoid triggers, allergy control measures, get vaccinated against flu and pneumonia. Treatment: inhalers, bronchodilators, or steroids. Medications to prevent inflammation, allergy medications. Number 4. Bronchitis. Symptoms: cough may produce mucus, chest congestion, wheezing, fatigue, low-grade fever. Causes: viral or bacterial infection of the airways. Prevention: frequent hand washing, avoid close contact with sick individuals. Treatment: rest fluids, over-the-counter cough suppressants, use with caution, pain relievers for fever. Number 5. Flu. Symptoms: sudden onset of fever, chills, fatigue, muscle aches, headache, sore throat, cough, and congestion. Causes: viral infection of the respiratory tract. Prevention: get vaccinated annually, frequently hand washing, avoid close contact with sick individuals. Treatment: rest, fluids, over-the-counter pain relievers, and fever reducers. Antivirals if prescribed within 48 hours of symptoms. Number 1 question: what are the similar symptoms found among the common respiratory ailments? Answer: most of them have similar symptoms like cough, fever, fatigue, or tiredness, chest pain, and shortness of breath. Some also include mucus, chills, and congestion. Number 2 question: why is it important to cover your mouth and nose with a handkerchief when sneezing? Answer: It is important because sneezing can spread germs through the air, which can infect other people. Covering your mouth and nose helps stop the spread of bacteria or viruses. Question number 3. How do you think the immune system of the body could help fight against these ailments? Answer: the immune system helps by attacking and killing germs like bacteria or viruses that causes sickness. A strong immune system can help us get better, faster, and protect us from getting sick again. Question number 5. How do you think air pollution affects the lungs? Answer: air pollution can harm the lungs by bringing in dirty or harmful particles that make it hard to breathe. It can cause or make breathing problems worse, like asthma or bronchitis. Synthesis or extended practice. Your group will design a short slogan, message, poster, or infographic using illustration board or a digital presentation to promote healthy habits for the respiratory organs in order to prevent common respiratory ailments. Just like, for example, healthy lungs, healthy life. Day 5. Learners takeaway. Rate your understanding. How much did this lesson help you? So based on the objective here, you are going to rate yourself. If you think you've done your part, you understand the lesson, then that's 10 points. But when there is something need to be improved, that's better, that's 8 points. But if you need to learn more about the lesson, that's 5 points. Objective number 1. Identify the nose, windpipe, and lungs in pictures and diagrams of the respiratory system. Number 2. Describe the function of each part of the respiratory system: the nose, the windpipe, and the lungs. Number 3. Label the nose, windpipe, and the lungs on the diagram of the respiratory system. The fourth one, explain how air moves in and out of the lungs through observing a lung model. Number 5, create a simple model of the respiratory system. KWL chart. Using the KWL chart you used in the beginning of the lesson, fill out the third column that shows your learnings about respiratory system. What you know, what you wonder, and what have you learned. So with this, I think you will now have your formative assessment.